All right, we should be live. Hello and welcome everyone to the Vays Geopolitical YouTube channel. Let me make sure that audio's working, video's working, and we go from there. All right, Brian K., thanks for moderating in the live chat. Let me open that live chat up. And we are a go. All right, let me get confirmation that audio video is good. Satwise, thanks for joining as well. Recognizing some names already. All right, let's go to screen share. I don't have a lot of announcements other than the Bitcoin chart is doing incredibly well. Really well, in fact. All right, all systems are working. Great. Perfect. And we had a little bit of a scare. Put my futures position right at break even, right at the low. A little bit above break even, but wasn't comfortable with it. And then bam, nice recovery, beautiful run up. And I think we're going to close at a new high. Those that are interested in my analysis of the price of Bitcoin, please go to the Financial Summit's YouTube channel. You can find it by going to financialsummit.com, and there's a link at the bottom right there to the YouTube channel. You can also click on any of these videos and find the Financial Summit YouTube channel. And hopefully I will see a lot of you in Maldives now that the price of Bitcoin is rising. Shout out to the Ocean Mining Pool that's found a bunch of blocks this week. All right, no more talk on price. Let me see. I want to get to 100 viewers, and then we're going to start talking about Russia, Ukraine. It's been 2 months. 2 months since my last update. Guys, throw in your questions in the live chat. Hopefully I have some moderators that can put them in our Telegram group. All right. Where do we begin on Russia, Ukraine? Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So it's been 2 months since my last video. So if I open my YouTube channel, Russia. I think this is the last one. Streamed August 16, right? Yeah, 2 months ago, September, October, right. This was my last stream on Russia, Ukraine. When I did this stream, Ukraine had just invaded, or yeah, they had just invaded. What's going on here? I think the Kursk region. Let me turn on audio, and then we'll do an update. It's 1.5 speed. That's good. Probably over here. Okay, let's play a few minutes, and then I do an update.
But as you can see by this map, Ukraine is still like 20 miles, 20, 30 miles away from the nuclear power plant that's next to Kursk, the capital Kursk of the region. And they're not going to make it because Russia has now secured the area and Ukraine is not going, and they're going to secure the nuclear power plant the most. So if Ukraine does move, they're going to move laterally. So if we go to a map here and we see what happened here, and the border with Russia is even less secure, it is very possible that Ukraine can open another front over here. And if Ukraine opens a front over here, this becomes what I talked about in the past. Ukraine would now be able to shorten the front line and take this area here. And if they do take this area, now they can mount a potential bigger offensive towards Kursk from here. So it is a little bit troublesome. Can I undo these? I can't. And Ukraine can obviously extend laterally a little bit because it doesn't look like Russia has enough men to stop this attack. But they do have enough men to prevent Ukraine from making it from where they are right now to the nuclear power plant. That's how far they have to go. They have to go 20 more miles. And this area is now being secured. But if Russia starts securing this area, and if Russia starts, their number one priority is to prevent Ukraine from making it to the nuclear power plant. If they start putting too many troops on the border, they're going to potentially allow Ukraine to storm in there. So their concentration is going to be up here, thus allowing Ukraine to move east and west and laterally along the border, thus potentially taking more land. But even that is going to be questionable. Now, let's discuss this some more. While Ukraine decided to attack this area, where did they get the men to do it? They got the men to do it from two areas. And this is also super important. They pulled people from the front line. That's one way they got the men. The second way they got the men is they pulled men that were guarding the Belarusian versus Ukrainian border here west of Kiev. These men were able to regroup and go here. So the men that were guarding the border with Ukraine are not proven military fighters. Patrick, if you're messaging me in the Zoom chat, that's a bad idea. I don't like having another chat up. So message me in Telegram would be
okay. Well, most of it is just notes for myself, but I did message you once.
Okay. Oh, because I see 4 messages. Okay, no, you can leave it for yourself then. That's fine. So the men coming that were guarding the border with Belarusia, they're not seasoned military veterans that have been fighting for you.
Okay, so that's enough discussion on that. And I think at the very end of that video, I talked about maybe not. All right, so let's get back to the update. What is happening now? Well, Ukraine did open a small second front line. They didn't do it where I would expect them to do it. I thought they would do it over here for strategic purposes, but they did not. They opened a second front line here, and there's not much they are able to do. Now, this is a pro-Western map, and it doesn't look this good for Ukraine at the moment. They were not able to get to the center of Kursk. They were not able to get to the nuclear power plant, which I believe is over here. I believe it's over here. Because nuclear power plant needs water to keep it cool. And they didn't make it. And now, this has become another meat grinder for the Ukrainians, and they are in a bit of trouble. And Russia is more than happy to let them stay here for a while, as long as they have the military advantage on, killing more Ukrainians in a 3-to-1 ratio versus Russians. In the meantime, this area is the most important area of Ukraine, and let's see how it is doing. We're going to have to zoom out a little bit. Let's go to our time lapse. And right here, this is Donetsk. Russian main objective right now is to try to take the most important city is right here, Pokrovsk. This is their number one priority. And it's the number one priority to take the city. This city significantly crushes the Ukrainian front line and breaks the front line in half. It is probably the third most important city Russia will take, following Bakhmut, which was up here somewhere. Where is it? The big battle for Bakhmut, they might have already renamed it. And the big battle for Avdiivka. Avdiivka was down here. Gotta find these cities. Man. Oh, I remember the battle for Marinka as well. So it's going very bad for Ukraine. There's a couple of big strongholds right here, and this is already in trouble. Okay? And right now they're trying to get to Pokrovsk. And if they are able to take Pokrovsk in the next few months, the north front line and the south front line are no longer able to communicate to each other. And Ukraine is completely screwed. Russia is also starting to make an offensive towards Zaporozhye, And Zaporozhye is the region that Russia still, this is now what Russia claims is Russia. There's also the region of Kherson, and it's hard for Russia to take this part of Kherson because there is the Dnieper River is in the way, and Russia would have a challenge on creating a proper supply line. But once Russia takes the rest of Donetsk and the rest of Zaporozhye, then their priority will become the Kherson, taking the rest of the Kherson region. So the front line of Ukraine is in serious trouble. Russia is advancing quickly. If we go to the beginning of this year, notice the areas in red right now, and now let's go to the beginning of January. Okay, see this? Right here, there's Avdiivka. See this big hole? Once Avdiivka was taken, okay, Russia is now looking something like this. There is Pokrovsk over there. They haven't made it to Pokrovsk yet. This region is incredibly important. And they've taken Avdiivka, which was a massively fortified city by Ukrainians, and now they're going to take Pokrovsk. And once Pokrovsk is taken, there are no cities with defensive lines. The Ukrainian military will have to pull back all the way to the Dnieper River. Russia would be able to walk right across basically the Dnieper region all the way to Dnieper City. I'll show it to you guys on a Google map later. And you can see the massive difference in red territory between what was in the beginning of the year and right now. Now the weather is going to turn bad. Russia only has a few more weeks. They only have a few more weeks to really make a push, and then you can take a major city in the winter, but it's very difficult to go through some of this ground in torrential rain, and rainy season for Ukraine is coming. Okay, let me read a couple of your comments and then we go on. Also, moderators, feel free to throw good stuff in our chat. Could the conflict be done and dusted by the end of the coming winter? No, it cannot. It absolutely cannot. The only way this conflict ends this winter is with an unconditional surrender by Ukraine. And the stupidity of Ukraine to invade pre-1991 border Russia has completely removed all possibility of a peaceful end to this. Also, Ukraine is still trying to get permission to use advanced weapons that could reach Moscow. And Russia is not going to have any of that, okay? Ross, I do daily videos. They're just not on this YouTube channel. You need to go to this amazing new website called Google. I know it's brand new for a lot of people. And you want to Google the words financial summit. I know this can be complicated for a lot. I know I'm being a little sarcastic. And, oh man, I'm no longer the first hit. That sucks. You want to find the financial summit, and then you go to videos. And then you find the financial summit's YouTube channel. Which, wow, I'm really being downranked here. That sucks. Financial Summit Tone Vays. And you will find the Financial Summit YouTube channel where I stream every single day about Bitcoin. And this is where you find my videos. Right there, every day, there I am, every single morning, sometimes twice a day. And it's kind of crazy how this channel only has 5,000 subs. It should have a lot more than that. Okay. So let's get back to what I've been talking about for years. 4 years now. I'm going to change screen share. And then we're going to talk about some details. I'm going to share the whole screen, and I'm going to open Pate. Russia has a few priorities, okay? I'm going to color it red. Boom. Boom. Crimea is already Russia. It always was Russia. Anyone that thinks Crimea is Ukraine, they're fucking crazy, okay? Now, as of Luhansk is already fully under Russian control. If you look at this map, you will see that only this little tiny part of Luhansk is not currently under Russian control. This little part, that little part, and no one lives here. So it's completely irrelevant. Russia's next priority is to fully take the region of Donetsk. Super important. The Ukrainian military is still way too close to the capital of the Donetsk region, Donetsk city. And they still continue to shell civilians in this city. So Russian first priority is to capture all of the region of Donetsk and to push the Ukrainians back into the region of the Dnieper, okay? That is this region right here, Dnipropetrovsk, okay? Russia's next priority is to take the Zaporozhye region, okay? Again, same reason, to push the Ukrainians away from Donetsk city, and Zaporozhye is a very important city. Geographically, you can see where it's located on the map. It is located right on the Dnieper River, and by taking the city, they now control any potential traffic that is going to go down this river into the Black Sea, or any traffic from the Black Sea that could go into that river. So super important. After that, in the same order of progression, Russia would need to complete taking the Kherson region. Now, this could become a higher priority because of recent rumors are saying that Ukraine, for a reason that is even dumber than going and shooting into pre-1991 Russia, Ukraine's most recent genius idea that's going to get an extra million Ukrainians killed is to attack Transnistria. This is beyond retarded, but let's discuss it. So, what is Transnistria? Transnistria is a pro-Russian region of Moldova, okay? Transnistria is the equivalent of the Donbass region, okay? And this area would love to join Russia, but they can't join Russia because they're not connected to Russia, okay? Now, Russia would love to add this region to Russia, but the only way they can add this region to Russia is, you guessed it, they take Mykolaiv and they take the Odessa region. Both of these are Odessa region. And I find it very difficult to believe. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me change color here. This is, let me change color still. This is Russia not debatable. This is Russia potentially debatable by Ukraine, mostly, and the West. This is not yet Russia, but will be eventually. Not the ideal color here. Let's go pink. There we go. Now, I believe that because Ukraine is considering attacking Transnistria. Now, why would Ukraine attack Transnistria? This becomes a very interesting because technically Transnistria is Moldova. Now, Moldova would love to join the European Union and NATO, but because Transnistria is a contested zone, they're not able to join the European Union or NATO. And in addition, there is a lot of gun warehouses here. And Ukraine feels that these weapons should belong to Ukraine. So they are considering invading this, which I think would be fucking insane, okay? Now, Russia would somehow need to start taking over these regions, which is going to be very challenging for Russia. But this region could now ask for help from China and other allies of Russia. And this is going to look very, very bad for Ukrainians. Let me refresh this again. I think before this is all said and done, Russia will make a land bridge to Transnistria. And that means that these two additional regions will also become Russia before all of this is over. I've said all of this 1.5 years or 2 years ago. Nothing has changed. Absolutely nothing. I'm repeating my videos from 2 years ago. Russia will end up taking these regions before it's all said and done. What else is likely to happen before this is all over? The next region Russia will be interested in is Kharkov. But Kharkov is the second biggest city in Ukraine, which is very difficult for Russia to take. But you can see by this map, Kharkov voted for Viktor Yanukovych. Kharkov is also a historic Russian city. Kharkov region has a lot of pro-Russian people. The Sumy region, you can see that it voted for Yulia Tymoshenko, okay, in that 2010 election. Okay? But the Sumy region is a lot easier for Russia to take. And because of the stupidity of Ukraine to attack Russia from the Sumy region, this now gives Russia a reason to take over the Sumy region. Okay? So before Russia will take over Kharkov, they're going to surround Kharkov city by first taking Sumy. And if they start to take Sumy, for the same reason they want to take Sumy to create distance between themselves and between the Ukrainians and the Russian capital. For the same reason, they're going to take Chernihiv. Okay? So, they're going to take these two regions first before they go after Kharkov. And the reason is because they need to surround Kharkov on all sides. Okay? Once they take Pokrovsk, it will be easy for them to then take Dnipropetrovsk. And once Kharkov is surrounded, they will then take Kharkov. Okay? And now, this becomes a very long front line. They will shorten the front line by taking Poltava and, I can't even pronounce this, Kirovorad. I'm not familiar with this region. And potentially, if Ukraine still has not properly surrendered to Russia's liking, They will now look to surround the Kiev region. They will not go further than this. This is as far as Russia will go, and this is where it will end. Okay? Now, let me look at some of your questions. And let's see what we got. Yeah, it's Ukrainians refuse to talk to Russia. America refuses to talk to Russia. Europe, the lapdog of America, is destroying themselves by refusing to talk to Russia, and they're all going to be fucked economically, politically, and if they continue on this path, their cities will be destroyed by Russian missiles. Russia has nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose. Russia is fighting a war for the survival of the Russian people. They won it against Napoleon, they won it against the Nazis, and as far as Russia's concerned, they are fighting the Nazis once again. And if England and Germany are not careful, there will be no London and there will be no Berlin. And Russia has made it very, very clear. They are fighting a war for the survival of Russia. They have no interest in taking over Berlin again. They have no interest in taking over London. They don't even have an interest of taking over Poland. But if the European Union isn't careful, every major city in Europe will be a giant hole in the ground, and Russia will not give a fuck. They have made this very, very clear, and no one is listening. By the way, if you want to listen what Russia is actually saying, there is a very good YouTube channel. It's right here. It's called Russia News, right here. They post a 10-minute video every day from Russia translated in English. They pick out the most important 10 minutes from Russian television or from a Russian diplomat. Here is Sergei Lavrov. Okay, here is Russian media. They select a 10-minute clip on average. They range anywhere from 12 minutes to 5 minutes. They translate it into English, and they put one video a day. So if anyone is actually interested in learning what they are saying in Russian, you follow this channel. I can't believe it only has 6,000 subscribers. This shows you how much English speakers care about what Russians actually say and think and what they say on their television. You don't have to watch Russian news all day. 10 minutes a day. That's all you need. Zelensky doesn't have a peace plan. Zelensky has a dream that if aliens help him to take over Russia, that's what's going to happen. I don't think Russia is very interested in North Korean soldiers. The last thing Ukraine should want is North Korean soldiers on their soil. The Ukrainians need to avoid North Koreans on their soil at all fucking cost. At all cost. Okay? Russian soldiers don't want to harm Ukrainian civilians. North Korean soldiers are not going to give a fuck. Right? Like the main reason why a North Korean soldier would probably sign up to go fight in Ukraine is probably to rape the pretty Ukrainian women. Ukraine needs to avoid North Korean fucking soldiers on their soil at all costs. Ukrainians can talk to the Russian soldiers in Russian. There'll be reasonable terms of surrender. I mean, I'm not saying war atrocities don't happen with Russian soldiers, they are. But, I mean, you're going to magnify this times 100 if North Korean soldiers are on Ukrainian soil. And North Korea would love to send North Korean soldiers there because they have no practical, uh, they haven't fought a war. They need practice. Like their generals need to learn how to fight a war. Russia is the only country with experience right now of fighting a real fucking war. American soldiers have zero experience in fighting a real war. The last ones died in World War II. It's the last time. That's it. That was a real fucking war with an enemy that can fight back. American soldiers haven't had to deal with an army that has the capacity to match them militarily since World War II. And Russia has in Ukraine. American soldiers aren't there. Just a handful. Not the guys on the ground. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Again, Russia escalates based on how US escalates. The more weapons US gives to Ukraine, the more Russia escalates. And Russia is about to stop giving a fuck. The further west Russia goes, the less shit they give about Ukrainian lives. As long as Russia is in this part of Ukraine, let me remove all this. The more blue these regions, the more Russia cares about the lives of people in this region. The moment they enter the yellow area, I mean, you're getting closer to, like, Nazi strongholds in Ukraine. The less Russia cares about the lives of people here. Okay? Here, there's still a lot of Russians that they don't want to kill. Here, very different. Very different story. Okay? Let me go through the rest of your comments. People don't know who to believe anymore. Mainstream media. In the YouTube video description, I have links, right? If you go to the YouTube description of this video, here are some channels to follow. Important YouTube channels to keep up with Russia-Ukraine conflict. Here they are. Okay, so if you watch these channels, you'll be informed. You'll be informed on what's going on. They're the channels. I have lots of other good links. I have this entire document right here. This is my document. It's an article I started writing 2 years ago, but never finished. On Russia-Ukraine, what started it. Never really finished it, unfortunately. And now at the end, it just becomes random links and stuff that I still need to manage and go through. Okay. Now, I have this article linked in the video description. This is Institute of the Study of War. And this is one of America's biggest propaganda sites. This is owned by Victoria Nuland's husband. And she started the war in Ukraine. They give you a proper update, but their conclusions are ass backwards. But they show you these maps. And they show you that here, Chasiv Yar is about to fall. That's an important Ukrainian stronghold as well. That's about to fall. And the most important one is, of course, Taretsk is about to fall as well. But the most important one is Pokrovsk. This is the most fortified Ukrainian line right here. This is a massive Ukrainian stronghold, and it's about to fall. Okay, I think it's gonna fall by end of this year. I think Russia's gonna take it by end of the year. They want to take it before the U.S. election, but that's gonna be very, very hard for them. Okay, and you can review these maps. Here is the Pokrovsk is over here. I don't know why they don't have the city listed right here, but Pokrovsk, Toretsk, and Chasov Yar, which is over here. Okay, so these are super important strongholds that I believe are going to fall by end of this year. On the last stream, I talked about the importance of these regions and the minerals in these regions. Okay, Donetsk is worth 3.8. I think that's trillion dollars. 3.8 trillion in the amount of minerals that are there. Okay, I translated all of these minerals. This is oil, that's natural gas. This is lithium, very important right here. Lithium, massive lithium deposits, more lithium deposits right here. This is aluminum. This is gold. That's mid. I think that's iron. That's zinc. That's silver. You can see by the minerals. This is uranium. Super important as well. This region right here, $3.5 trillion. Look how many minerals are there, including gold and uranium. Super important. Super important. And Russia is going to take all these regions with all these mineral deposits. This region is completely useless from a mineral perspective. And even though the Odessa region doesn't have a lot of minerals, what they do have is complete control of the Black Sea. And once Ukraine becomes a landlocked country, it basically becomes a dead country. Ukraine is so fucked. It is so fucked. All they had to do was take the deal. All they had to do was take, well, if Ukraine would have only done the Minsk agreement, they would still have their entire country. And all they had to do was then agree to the Istanbul agreement in March of 2022, sorry. And they would still have almost all of their country. And at this rate, Ukraine is going to be a landlocked region, and if they're lucky, they will get to keep Kiev. Ukraine is so fucked, guys. It is just fucked. I'll do these updates once every couple of months. I'll do another one at the end of the year. All right, let's look at your other comments. Yeah, they tried to go for the nuclear power plant and failed. Yes, the Financial Summit is also a YouTube channel with daily videos. I love Paint. Best application ever. By the way, the stupidity of some countries also have no bound. Hey guys, I'm going to El Salvador next month for adopting Bitcoin. Just keep in mind. Latvia and Lithuania are two countries that are also going to get fucked. If the West even thinks of attacking a single Russian person inside Kaliningrad, I think Latvia and Lithuania and Estonia go back to being Russia. Article 5 of NATO is completely irrelevant. The United States is not going to go to nuclear war with Moscow over fucking Latvia. I have said this 1,000 times. The European Union basically put the most anti-Russian people from Latvia and Lithuania. This is like a chihuahua trying to bark at a lion, okay? These countries are in deep shit if they actually try to do something against Russia. I think Russia is getting so frustrated. I wouldn't be surprised that if after they're done with Ukraine, they're going to take these three countries back. And the only reason they would is to teach the West a lesson. And these countries need to elect a government that wants to work with Russia and not be adversarial to Russia. Finland is retarded enough for all of them by joining NATO. How many troops do Ukraine still have against Ukraine? Against Russia? I mean, a lot. Ukraine probably still has 50,000 active troops, 50 to 100,000 active troops. And remember, Ukraine can still, enlist a few 100,000 troops. Ukraine's just picking them up and throwing them on a bus and taking them to the front line. There's still millions of people that can die in Ukraine. Plenty of people. Remember, the people that are convincing Ukrainians to die for no reason are the same people that want to lower the world population. It's just fucking people. Well, half the F-16s have already been blown up. Not a single F-16 has been used. Guys, it's all bullshit. Yeah, Putin will talk to the Ukrainians. The problem is, Russia sees Zelensky as an unconstitutional president of Ukraine. So Ukraine needs to have an election, and they need to elect a proper president. How am I brainwashed? I've been right about this whole thing for 2 years. Go to my video from 2 years ago. Everything I said then is true today. I've been right about everything in Russia, Ukraine for 2 years. I mean, I'm also looking 5 years ahead, but I mean, it's all happening a little slower than I expected, but it's happening exactly as I expected. I don't know one thing that I've been wrong on in my whole Russia-Ukraine for the last 2.5 years. Since day one of this conflict, everything I said is playing out exactly as I said it. How can someone be brainwashed if they've been right on everything for 2 years? I mean, Israel doesn't care about Ukraine. Israel knows how many Nazis there are in Ukraine. Why would Israel care about Ukraine? Kharkov will eventually become Russia. Guys, the only way Ukraine avoids losing Kharkov and Odessa to Russia is a full unconditional surrender by Ukraine, a complete overhaul of the Ukrainian government, an election of a president of Ukraine that is pro-Russia, like the prior democratically elected president Viktor Yanukovych, the removal of all Nazi elements in the Ukrainian government, a full change of the Ukrainian constitution that would not allow Ukraine to join NATO. Only if that happens, Kharkov and Odessa remain Ukraine. Otherwise, Kharkov and Odessa will eventually become Russia. Israel has their own fucking problems right now, if you haven't noticed. I think the real question is, which country is more likely to exist in 20 years, Ukraine or Israel? Which country is more likely to have a functioning government, Ukraine or Israel? I actually think in 20 years, both countries will not exist. They'll have a government in exile somewhere. Both countries destroyed themselves, basically. Ukraine and Israel. I think both countries will be gone. And they cause it to themselves by not being able to diplomatically work with their neighbors. They're more powerful, stronger neighbors on their border. All they had to do was have good relations with their neighbors, and both countries would be thriving today. But nope, they couldn't do it. Oh yeah, the Duran is by far the best geopolitical channel. I have it second on my list, only because Military Summary gives a direct update on only Russia, Ukraine. But the Duran is the best geopolitical podcast on the planet as far as I'm concerned. Avdiivka has completely fallen, so has Bakhmut. I'm looking at looking at the map. Well, let's go to this map. After Avdiivka fell, Russian military is moving so fast across the Donetsk region that they're almost at Pokrovsk, which is a huge, important stronghold. Avdiivka was the big win for the Russians, and Bakhmut fell long before that. Where is Bakhmut? Man. It's possible that the city was already renamed. Wait, Avdiivka is here. Russia has not. There it is. There is Bakhmut. So the next city after Bakhmut is Chasav Yar, and Russia is about to take Chasav Yar, and that's it. And the Ukrainian front line collapses. They're also about to. They've already encircled Solidov, and this is almost on the bridge of collapse. And they also almost have completed taking Kryivka. It's bad. It's really bad for Ukraine. Oh yeah, the UK is totally screwed. They bought up this Ukrainian debt. Speaking of Ukrainian debt, I want to see the. This is my futures position in Bitcoin, by the way. My leverage futures position in Bitcoin. It's right here. It's a smidge lower than that. It's like right there. And my position was actually in a little bit of danger here. I'm like, shit. That's not good. But now we're back. The world's all right again. FX, I want to see the Ukrainian currency. Oh boy, not good. Not good. I think the Ukrainian currency is gonna collapse again. I mean, I'm waiting for a 25% devaluation this year. This year, I'm expecting it to devalue 25%. And how's the Russian currency doing? Not great either. Not great either. All right, let's get back to your comments. Lithium prices are cheap. Maybe. I'm not sure. I haven't paid attention. How soon will Trump help end this war? You know, I'm not sure Russia wants to see Trump win. Because if Trump wins, Russia may have to negotiate. And right now, Russia is in a very good position to not negotiate. Guys, I talk about Bitcoin every day. Every day. I talk about this once every 2 months. You want to hear Bitcoin? Go follow the Financial Summit YouTube channel. Financial Summit right there. You follow this channel right here, and you can hear me talk about Bitcoin every single day. Every day. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for Putin to talk to Olaf Scholz. Olaf Scholz literally sent German tanks with Nazi symbols into Russia. Olaf Scholz should be happy that his country hasn't been nuked yet. I don't know if you guys know, but Russia doesn't like Nazis. They lost 22 million people to Nazis in World War II. Russia is not a fan of Germany right now. Germany needs a complete overhaul of their government, and then Russia might talk to them again. Um, you can find the sites in this YouTube video description. Guys, anything I show you is usually in my video description. So if you're looking for the Russian news site, just go to the video you're watching. Click on it. You're on it. You're watching it. Click on the description and then find that channel right here. Russian news. Right there. Russian news _CH. Click on it right there. Oh yeah, this is like you're never gonna find it otherwise. I mean, YouTube. I'm surprised YouTube even allows this channel. God forbid Americans hear what Russians are saying in Russian to Russians. God forbid Americans hear that. Venda Hayes, thank you so much. Yeah, no, I've been writing a lot about the geopolitics stuff. Yeah, I need to consume more Western propaganda. Perfect. Oh, Zelensky is one of the worst puppets ever. I really hate Zelensky. I mean, I loved Ukraine. I used to go to Ukraine all the time. One of my favorite countries. And Zelensky and those that control Zelensky destroyed Ukraine. They destroyed Ukraine. Just going through your comments, guys. Yeah, this is what 30 years of propaganda will do to you. I mean, life, you get this nice fancy European life in Latvia and Lithuania until you decide to send weapons to fire at Russia, and then your country's gone, right? Enjoy your coffee while you can over in Lithuania, because if Lithuania keeps going the way they're going, there will be no Lithuania. I mean, look, how will Iran-Israel war affect the Ukraine front? Well, Russia is going to have to help Iran. So it could actually force Russia to have a peace deal with Ukraine if they now have to, prevent Iran from being destroyed by US and Israel. On the flip side, US having to prevent Israel from being destroyed hurts Ukraine. So at the end of the day, nothing good's going to come to Ukraine. Ukraine should have never put themselves in this position to begin with. Yeah, I have the new atlas as well. I mean, again, you see the links, right? I have the new atlas right there, and Judge Napolitano does good job covering. So the Duran and Napolitano, they cover global stuff. Napolitano covers a lot more US than the Duran does. The Duran is all international. Napolitano is like 80% domestic, 20% international. The new Atlas is 95% international. It's focused on Asia. But if you want to keep up with Russia, Ukraine, and Israel, Gaza, this is all you need to watch. And the gray zone. I should add the gray zone, actually. I don't watch the Gray Zones channel because I listen to Max Blumenthal and Judge Napolitano every week, but the Gray Zone is another good one. Guys, the problem with Europe is that every single leader in the European Union is a fucking communist, okay? Except Viktor Orban and Fico and maybe Giorgia Meloni, maybe. Okay, that's the problem with Europe. And not only are they communist, they're also completely Russophobic, which put them in this position to begin with. Why is Israel allowed to expand the war into Lebanon without much resistance? The United States is the answer. If you're not aware of this conflict, you have to click on this document right here, and it takes you to this document right here. And I started, with lots of links, everything right here, all these links, okay? A lot of them are probably gone. That explain why this happened and how this happened. Okay? You really want to read this, and one day I'll finish writing it. Being in a communist party back in the day doesn't necessarily make you a communist. It's your current mentality. In order to understand, I have something to play you guys. I have maybe 20 more minutes. One of the best videos. Hold on a second. Let me see. I think I linked to it like 3 times. It's probably up here somewhere. Let me see. Here we go. Yeah, but which video? Hmm. Oh man. Ah, here we go. Ah, it's one of these. All right, let me try it. Let me try it. Let me see what happens here. One second. These are great videos, by the way. Nope, not this one. Is it this one? Yeah, here we go. Found it. Beautiful. He speaks very fast. We're only going to go 1.25. This is excellent. If you want to understand what's going on politically, this is what you need to listen to. Let's go.
The economic development of Russia. But at the same time, there will be many other countries that will accept the outcome, and then some countries will be neutral about it. And that's how everything will be back to normal. In the end, I just want to quickly add a few more points. Do you remember when did the communist ideology take over the Soviet Union? It was in 1917. The 10 years from 1917 to 1927, the Russian Empire saw a radical transformation into a socialist state. And then in 1922, the Soviet Union started. So from 1917 to 1922, it was Soviet Russia, and after 1922 till 1991, it was the Soviet Union. And before 1917, it was the Russian Empire, and Nicholas II was the last emperor of the Russian Empire, which had a massive extension across Eurasia since 1721. So basically in 1917, there was a Russian civil war, where the Bolsheviks took control. Who were the Bolsheviks? They were far leftist, Marxist followers, and their founder was Vladimir Lenin. Anyhow, I'm not going to make this a history lesson. Perhaps I'll make a separate video on the history of the Soviet Union. Anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is that it was in 1917 when communists gained control over Soviet Russia, and their aim was to destroy capitalism and create a socialist society. The thing about communism is that they don't believe in culture, religion, or in the idea of the nation. So naturally, Lenin, Stalin, then Nikita Khrushchev, Boris Yeltsin, all of them destroyed the Russian culture, the nationalist sentiments, and did not do anything to revive it. And then in 1991, when the Soviet Union collapsed, 15 republics which together formed the Soviet Union all got separated. The Western countries started preaching to the world that they have completely destroyed the Soviet Union. They have created a new history. The end of the Cold War was seen as a victory of democracy over communism. And that is where the world started thinking communism is associated with dictatorship. Actually, that is correct, but you also have to understand that at the ground level, communist ideology takes birth from radicalization. At first, you need a breeding ground. After that, you need to charge the public, making people oppose some ideas. It could be against the government, culture, religion, and then emerge as a sustainable and a viable political option for those radicalized people. So the leader is not the problem, the ideology is the problem. That is why communist ideology does not care about territorial boundaries. Two groups of people living in a separate country can have similar views if they are communists. That is why you will see the same ideology in worker unions, employee unions, railway unions. Wherever there is union, you will get hints of communist ideology. Always remember, communists have always participated in charging people. They have an anti-establishment mindset. They will tell you things like you are poor because that person is rich. They will talk in such a sweet manner and convincing manner that you will not even realize when you got radicalized. That is how they charge people. So communism is a mindset. So after 1991, the Western powers started preaching to the world that they have destroyed the Soviet Union. They have created a new history. They created a narrative. End of Cold War is seen as a victory of democracy over communism. And that is where the world started thinking communism is associated with dictatorship. But what happened was by 1991, communism was out of Russia. As I said, communism is an ideology. It is a mindset. So it left Russia in 1991 after destroying 70 years of Russian culture. But then it moved deep into the Western society and it destroyed their culture, values, everything. That is why you will see that today in the United States, Canada and European countries, there's a huge identity crisis. All of the material progress, their per capita GDP, their democracy, prosperity is of no use. People are neck deep in consumerism. They have gone woke. They don't even respect their elders. All they want is more rights. There is no culture, there are no values, there are no ethics, no feeling of nationalism. Unfortunately, the same Western lifestyle is slowly spreading in India. Anyhow, on the other hand, after 1991, when the Soviet Union collapsed, Boris Yeltsin became the president. Communists have a symbol, if you remember, hammer and sickle. On December 25th, 1991, the communist flag was lowered for the last time over the Kremlin, thereafter replaced by the Russian tricolor. That means Boris Yeltsin became the first president of the Russian state. He was the president till 1999. Even he did not do anything to revive the old Russian culture, the religious values, and the nationalist sentiment. And if you remember, in 1999, he handed over the charge to Vladimir Putin. And since then, he was either the prime minister or the president. So you can say Vladimir Putin is the first leader in Russia to have revived the old Russian culture, religious values, and national sentiments. And that is how the Western media tries to show Vladimir Putin and Russia as a villain. The Democrats in the United States are actually the communist mindsets. And you can also see that today, United States has charged Ukraine so much that it has to fight alone with Russia. And what is the United States doing? It is asking the world to come together. And on the other hand, Russia is saying, no one will interfere in this fight, stay out of it. So Russia is actually fighting for its motherland, for its territory, and for also its own people who live in Ukraine. Honestly, the Western power had to just stay out of this. Ukraine got carried away in sweet talks of the Western countries. Unfortunately, today it is in trouble. I hope you found this video informative. Thank you for watching it.
This video was made a few days after Russian invasion of Ukraine. This video is almost 3 years old now, and that part was super important. Right here, basically, the Russian culture is very anti-communist. Yes, you can say they have a dictator for a leader, but the Russian culture is no longer communist. Yet the Western culture of the US, Canada, Europe is becoming more and more communist. And it's irrelevant whether your political model is a dictatorship or a democracy. It is the people's mentality that are becoming communist. And this is what people don't understand. It's super, super important. Okay, he has a good playlist on India as well. In his last video on Iran versus Israel is one of the few times I disagree with him. Amit Sangupta does very good videos, but I was very, very disappointed in his last video on his views of the Iran versus Israel conflict. I disagreed with many, many things in that video, but other than that, he does very, very good stuff. All right, looking at your comments, guys. What does Israel give to the US? Nothing. Spying technology. Nothing. Yeah, the right-wing political parties in Europe, but they can't seem to get elected, right? Because because they won't let them get elected. No, I'm gonna do a separate video on China, on the geopolitics in China. Guys, a Nazi ideology does not conflict with a communist ideology. The German Nazi Party was a far-left socialist party. There's no conflict here. Yeah, I'm not happy with Russia banning a lot of the applications. Would I rather live in Germany or South Africa? I wouldn't want to live in either of them, to be honest with you. All right. Oh, I don't like that candle right there. Is Bitcoin dropping again? Yeah, it's dropping a little. But considering how the S&P fell, Bitcoin's doing well. Relatively well. All right. Anything else on Russia, Ukraine before I wrap it up? Oh, link to the video I was playing. They should be in my video description of this video. I think these are it. One week after war, maybe? This one? Yeah, here it is. Yeah, it's in the video description. It's right there. Already there, mechanic. Already there. So this one right here. But you should watch these two videos before that. They're all Amit Sangupta, right? So this is 2 weeks before the war from him about Russia, Ukraine. Also very good. This is 2 weeks before the war. And then he did a video 1 week before the war. And he still thought they weren't going to invade. Yeah, here. I'll play one more good part.
Military services. Because of this dependency, in the future, Russia can delay the replacement and servicing of equipment and weapons, which of course won't be in India's interest. And anything which is not in India's interest will automatically be China's interest. So this is point number 2. Now coming to point number 3. If you pay attention, both Ukraine and Taiwan are small powers trying to escape from the influence of greater powers like Russia and China. If you look at the scenario from both Russia's and China's perspectives, Russia and China both believe that Ukraine and Taiwan are integral parts of their territory. And what is more interesting is, the United States is a part of both conflicts. Although America has not extended the same security guarantees to Taiwan that it has given to Ukraine, but nevertheless, the United States is at the heart of both these conflicts.
Now, this is before the invasion. This is before Russian invasion, like a few days before. Let's see the date. February 11th. So this is like 10 days before the invasion.
Both Ukraine and Taiwan have bad relationships with their dominators, and both of them have strategically oriented themselves towards the West to irritate their parents. So China has all the more reason to support Russia and depict the United States and other Western liberal democratic societies as chaotic and reckless. Suppose if United States fails in Ukraine, it will be considered a loss for the West. For example, look at Afghanistan. What did the American or NATO countries achieve? Nothing. Afghanistan has gone back to what it was. The United States were defeated by Taliban. These kind of narratives gained prominence. Similarly, if the United States or NATO forces fail in Ukraine, then it will give more power to the Chinese and Russian narrative, which is to undermine United States' credibility as a protector of the world and its allies. See, it is very simple and straightforward. If you look at both Russia and China, in today's time, these both countries are actually capitalist countries. However, it is also a complex question whether Russia and China are truly capitalist countries. So, Russia and China are capitalist economies. But if you look at the Russian and Chinese political models, they are not an example of democratic governance. I don't have the right word because words like autocracy, dictatorship are not right. If you look at the leadership of Russia and China, they are not a product of nepotism. They have proven themselves and have been placed wherever they are based on their performance. Although if you look at it from the outside, China's one-party system or Russia's political party, United Russia, looks authoritative. But inside these political parties, people have to prove themselves, right? Only then they will be promoted. In other words, meritocracy is there. But it is not like the Western democracy. So if you see, there is actually an invisible fight, or you can say the war of narrative, as to whose governing style is the best. Western American style democracy versus Russia and China's own model of governance. Now, let's not take any side and be absolutely honest to ourselves. Forget about Russia and China's model of governance. If you see the Western American style democracy, it has dominated for a long time. And frankly, today in the 21st century, it is also causing massive chaos and dysfunction. Too much democracy is actually destroying the foundation of almost everything in our society. You cannot make policies on important issues if you have too much democracy. Because today no one can convince anyone even if you have facts. Everyone has become an activist. If you see, many of the problems that we see in our societies these days have been created by people who care more. You will hear people saying, I'm more aware of the science, I have read the research, I care about the environment, I care about poor people more than you, etc. etc. Too much democracy has actually led to the decline of common identity. That's what leads to an identity crisis. Europe is facing it, America, Canada is facing it. If we don't have a common identity, then we will be picked apart one by one. And that is how civilization is destroyed. And if you see, that is what the big technology companies are doing with artificial intelligence. Targeting individual audiences, manufacturing perception for them. I'm not saying democracy is bad, but too much is not good. Too much of anything is not good. So anyhow, this Russia-Ukraine conflict can actually turn out to be a turning point in building a new world order. And China's interest is to succeed at weakening the global appeal of democratic states, institutions and norms, so that it can create a space for flaunting the strengths of its own governance model as an alternative. I hope you found this video informative. Thank you for watching it.
All right, guys. On this note, I'm going to get going. Just looking at your comments one more time. Oh, Argentina is so fucked. I think they're going to try to take Trump out again. I think the next video I'm going to do is about the US election and the upcoming split of the American Union. Thanks, Red Panda. Yeah, if you want to get caught up on crypto, you got to follow the Financial Summit YouTube channel. I only do geopolitics on this channel, guys. I only do geopolitics on this channel. You got to go to the Financial Summit YouTube channel. I don't cover crypto here. Here. If you want to hear about Bitcoin, you got to follow the Financial Summit. All right, guys. What's wrong with Argentina? I got to do a whole show on Argentina. Argentina elected an American Zionist puppet, and Argentina is about to have a big problem. If you want to know about Argentina, watch my video about Venezuela. I talked a little bit about Argentina in this video. So here at the end of the video, we talk about Argentina. And I guess North Korea as well. Tanzania is pretty cool. If I lived somewhere in Africa, it would probably be Tanzania. Let me tell you the worst people to follow on geopolitical news. Just so you know, because they're very popular channels. I follow them. I don't really watch their stuff, but where are they? I have too many friends on YouTube. I follow too many people. I think it's a real life lore. Yeah, people like this are the worst people to follow on geopolitics. You see, he has almost 8 million subscribers, and his channel is a geopolitical channel, but it's absolutely atrocious. And I'll tell you why. And it's channels like this and similar channels to this. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of channels that are very similar to this channel. I follow a few of them. The reason why these channels, these are propaganda channels, and it's not even their fault. He doesn't even realize he's spreading propaganda, but he is. And the reason is because if he tells you the truth, like I do, he will never have 7 million subscribers. See, that's the problem. He's incentivized to make videos that are pro-Western. Otherwise, he will never get this many views. So all his videos are talking about, why China and Russia are going to go to war, why China and Iran don't have a relationship, right? He may believe in this, right? But he believes in this because he is financially incentivized to believe in it, okay? So one of the more popular channels is this, and I haven't watched his newest videos, but I've watched enough of his older videos that talked about these conflicts, right? And he's incentivized to lie to you for financial reasons. And he'll never admit it. They're very nice production videos. It's great production quality. It's excellent. But I realized the guy is a total fucking idiot when I watched this video. When you watch a video that says why Russia's biggest threat is China, you realize that the guy is just there to get 10 million views on a video and to spread Western propaganda. That you realize it when he tries to explain why Russia and China are going to go to war over an irrelevant piece of land. Yeah, Caspian Report. Yep, 100%. Same thing. Caspian Report, that's another one of these channels, has like millions of views. Total propaganda. Total propaganda. Again, he doesn't even realize he's spreading propaganda. He's incentivized to give you a Western narrative for financial reasons. He can't give you an honest take because then his channel is in danger. This is the problem. This is the problem with these channels. They'll never give you an honest take. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye, guys. Bitcoin's holding. That's good. Bye, guys.